The shift, you gave them softness, you gave them loyalty, you gave them everything. And still, you weren't enough. They didn't prioritize you. They never showed up like you did. Because to them, you were always available, always trying, always there. And somewhere in that trying, you disappeared. This is how the world works. They don't notice what never steps back. They don't value what never says no. They don't chase what doesn't walk away. So now, you shift. Not to hurt them. Not to become cold, but to become unavoidable. You don't argue. You don't explain. You just move different. With silence, with standards, with the kind of stillness they don't know how to read. Because when you stop proving your worth, people finally feel the void of it. This isn't revenge, it's return. To your power, to your center, to the version of you they can't ignore. Let them feel your absence. Let them realize your presence was never free. And when they wonder what changed, don't tell them, just keep walking. 10 rules, 10 shifts, not to win them, but to stop losing yourself. Stay mysterious. The less they know, the more they lean in. Don't tell them everything. Don't fill the silence. Don't explain every scar. Let the gaps breathe. People don't chase clarity, they chase mystery. They are drawn to what withholds, not what begs to be seen. A voice that pauses, a gaze that doesn't flinch, a presence that doesn't offer itself, that's power. Because the more they understand you, the more they assume. The more they assume, the less they feel. Be the unanswered question. Be the paragraph with the last line missing. Don't hide. Just don't hand yourself over. Not all at once. Not to everyone. They don't need to know what keeps you up at night, or why you walk like that, or who broke you before. Let them wonder. Let them ask. Let the silence become a mirror they can't look away from. Mystery is not pretending. It's restraint. It's knowing you are worth discovering, not downloading. And if they don't lean in, good. They were never meant to reach your depths anyway. Stay unread. Stay unshaken. Stay unshown. Be willing to be lost. When they think you'll stay forever, they stop showing up. Attention fades, effort dies, and you become just another option on a shelf that's always full, until you disappear. Not to punish, not to prove, but because you finally remembered, your presence was never free. People don't change when you speak. They change when you leave. You were too accessible, too forgiving, too there. And in that consistency, you became invisible. So walk away, without noise, without warning, without dragging your soul behind you. Let them feel what silence sounds like, when it used to be filled with your warmth. Don't chase closure. Don't chase clarity. Let absence speak what your words never could. You don't need them to panic. You don't need them to break. You just need to break the pattern, where you shrink yourself for someone who never reached for you. When they realize you're gone, they'll wish they had listened harder, tried sooner, held tighter. But by then, you'll already be building a life where you never begged to be kept. Let them lose you, so they finally understand who they were careless with. Make yourself whole. They're not coming to save you. And that's a gift, because the moment you stop waiting is the moment you start building. Build peace from silence, build confidence from scars, build joy from nothing but breath. Happiness that's self-made isn't loud, it doesn't perform, it just exists. And because it doesn't ask, it becomes magnetic. They'll feel it. In your posture, in your calm, in the way you no longer rush to be chosen. People chase what doesn't need them, not to win it, but to feel its gravity. So become your own gravity, your own source, your own proof. Don't live to be filled, live to spill over. Because when you glow from the inside, they stop looking through you. They start looking to you. You don't need to be loud, you don't need to be seen, just be full. Quietly, deeply, unapologetically. That is how you stop being forgotten. Not by making noise, but by becoming the light they didn't know they needed. Don't be cheap. Anything they get too easily, they never fight to keep. You weren't meant to be free. You weren't meant to be convenient. You were meant to be earned. So stop giving discounts on your time, on your presence, on your energy. They should have to show up, not scroll through you. They should have to knock, not waltz in. Because what costs nothing is treated like nothing. Let them invest. Let them wonder what you're doing when you're not replying. Let them work for your consistency. Let them earn your access. This isn't about games, it's about value. You don't need to withhold love. Just don't pour it where it's not held with both hands. You don't need to be cold, just not cheap. Your space should feel like a privilege, not a pit stop, not a backup plan, not a vending machine for comfort. They want connection? Let them build it with effort, with intention, because the ones who stay are the ones who paid, not with money, with presence, with honesty, with time. And if they're not willing, let them go find something cheaper. They will. But they'll never forget what it felt like to hold something priceless. Never center them. You were born to orbit someone else. Your life is not a moon, spinning endlessly around their gravity. You are your own force, your own pull, your own sky. Don't fold your plans to fit their mood. Don't shrink your world to fit inside theirs. They should meet you in the middle of your path, not drag you off it. You were whole before they knew your name, so don't trade your direction for their attention. Keep your rituals, keep your pace, keep your silence. Let them join you, not consume you. Because when you build your life around someone else, you vanish. And when you vanish, they stop seeing you. Stay visible. Stay independent. Not to push them away, but to make sure you don't lose yourself trying to keep them. Your purpose didn't pause when they entered the room, so don't dim it just to feel seen. The ones who truly care don't need to be your center. They just need to walk beside you without asking you to stop. Your path is sacred. Walk it like it's yours. Because it is. Put yourself first. You've tried bending, shrinking, fitting in, and all it gave you was silence. The truth? If you don't put yourself first, you'll always be an afterthought. They won't ask how you feel. They won't check if you're drained, because you taught them that your needs can wait. Stop. This is your line now. This is the part where you choose you, without guilt, without permission. Say no without explaining. Say yes to what restores you. Say nothing when silence protects your peace. Because you're not here to be liked. You're here to be whole. Your time is not a donation. Your energy is not free refills. Your heart is not an open bar. For those who never bring anything but take, they will call it selfish. But it's not. It's survival. Because the more you disappear for others, the less they see you. Put yourself first, loudly if needed, quietly if that's your way, but always. First, because the world won't. Not until you do. Limit your availability. You are not Wi-Fi. You are not on demand. You are not a yes waiting to be pressed. You're a presence, not a pushover. The more they expect you to answer at every buzz, the less they hear your silence. Make space. Step back. Let them miss you. Because what's always there becomes invisible. It's not about being cold. It's about being conscious of your time, your attention, your sacred stillness. If they never wonder where you are, you're too available. If they never ask how you're doing, you're too accessible. Let them feel your absence. Let them earn your presence. Be busy. Be focused. Be unreachable sometimes. Not to play games, but to live your life. Because the most magnetic people aren't the ones who answer fast. They're the ones who leave room to be missed. If your time costs nothing, they'll spend it like it's worthless. So protect it. Like it's sacred, because it is. Stop chasing connection. If you're always the first to reach, you'll never know who would have reached for you. Let the space sit, let the silence speak. If they care, they will come. If they don't, that silence just saved you. You were not born to initiate every moment. You were not built to carry conversations alone. Connection is a bridge, not a chain. When you chase too much, you blur your shape, you soften your edges. Just to fit, but you were not made to be smaller, just to be seen. Stop chasing, stop checking, stop filling in their silence with your noise. If they never ask how you are, know this: they already told you, not with words, but with absence, with delay, with their silence that never waited for yours. Let them go. Let the empty space become a filter for who truly wants to stay. And if no one crosses that silence, good, now you're free. Free to stop running, free to stop proving, because the strongest connections, they seem, don't need chasing, they just meet you halfway. Master your emotions, feel everything, but don't obey it. Let the wave come, but don't let it drag you. Anger, fear, longing, they're visitors, not rulers. You can cry without collapsing. You can care without clinging. You can love without losing yourself. Emotion is not weakness. Attachment is not truth. Reacting to everything, that's slavery. The Stoics never silenced feeling. They just refused to serve it. So breathe. Don't speak just because you're hurt. Don't chase just because you miss them. Don't break just because they left. Sit in the fire without flinching. This is not about being numb, it's about being grounded. Emotion is weather. Let it pass. Let it teach. Let it go. Because if they can push a button and watch you spiral, you were never in control. They were. So hold the reins, feel the heat, but ride through it. Master your emotions, or they'll master you. Walk away if you must. When staying costs your peace, leave. When explaining drains your soul, leave. When you're shrinking just to stay close, leave. This isn't cruelty, it's clarity. Because walking away isn't always about them. Sometimes it's the only way to stay loyal to you. You gave chances, you gave time, you gave silence where there should have been fire. But now, you give distance, not to punish, but to protect. You are not here to convince someone to see your worth. You are here to protect it when they don't. If they only love you when you fold, that's not love. That's control. So fold no more. Step back, quietly, calmly, completely. Because the strongest people aren't the ones who stay the longest. They're the ones who know when the staying becomes self-betrayal. You don't have to hate them. You don't have to hurt them. You just have to choose you. And if they come running, only when you leave, remember, it took your absence to wake up their attention. But by then, you might not be holding the same door anymore. Some doors close softly, permanently, and for good. They either prioritize you or lose you. You don't have to prove your worth. You don't have to plead to be chosen. You only have to stop making yourself small for people who never grew to meet you. You followed the rules, gave more than you had, stayed longer than you should. Now, you shift. You become distant without coldness, kind without chasing, present without being predictable. And slowly they feel the difference. Because the moment you stop asking to be seen, you become unmissable. Let them wonder where you went. Let them realize what they lost. And if they never do, good. You just made space for people who never needed to be convinced. Because here's the truth. When you live with depth, discipline, and quiet dignity, they either prioritize you or lose you. And either way, you win.